Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is it morning over there? Have you reached midday yet?
It's midday, exactly.
Well, it'll be time for lunch after this. Have you got any plans?
Yeah, I brought some soup actually.
Nice.
I'm gonna heat it up.
Yeah, it's the season for soup, isn't it? I don't know. We'll talk about soup later. Can I introduce you to? This is the gang. There's some people over there. Should we have a wave? It's quite dark in this room, quite moody, but we're kind of getting towards Halloween anyway, so it's sort of setting the vibes. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Josh Cochran, and I'm in Brooklyn, New York, actually, right now.
Okay,
You
lovely.
can see back there.
It looks like you could be in Leeds. It just looks like a room. What's the address of the studio? What's the street called?
It's in Greenpoint Avenue,
Okay.
which is next to Queens, kind of.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And the space that you're in, is a shared studio?
Yeah. Should we do a tour?
Yeah, that would be lovely. Yeah, could we have a little look around?
Is that crazy?
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's get crazy.
Can I show you guys? No.
Come on, let's have a look. Oh, well, no, not for shy.
They're embarrassed. Yeah, put your helmet on. All right. Studio mates.
Hello.
This is Santu Mustonen.
Hey.
He's from Finland. This is Jim Datz.
Hey, Jim.
Want to see the trash on his desk?
No.
There we go. Yeah, so this is kind of the studio. It's like a long, it's sort of a mess. We're reorganizing.
Okay, cool.
You know, we made this big table to silk screen on, but we haven't done anything yet. There's an exposure unit.
Nice.
This is where I heat up my soup for lunch. You know?
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Is this a space you've been in for a while?
We just moved here maybe 6 months ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as I understand, in terms of arrangement, do you pay rent for the space and you have a contract with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Fascinating. I mean, what are the benefits for you of having a studio like this and sharing it with other practitioners?
I think that when you're working at home all the time, you get a little crazy, you know, you don't really talk to anyone and it feels lonely.
Yeah, sure.
So it's nice to have a place where it feels like a real job, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And what about the space? What's in front of you usually? What sort of space do you occupy?
Oh, like me? This?
Yeah, what have you got?
So I got a SMT
Nice.
and another monitor. Yeah, I just work on a desk mainly. I don't have a easel or anything kind of artsy. I wish I did, you know.
Okay, well, it's something to work towards. Can we, let me look at these questions. Yeah, we've had a look around. What about, have you got any objects or artifacts you could show us?
I do, actually.
Any treasures?
We'll start with, I brought something that I did when I was in school, and this is kind of what started my career, kind of,
Okay.
really. I did this, I guess it was a assignment in school when I was a fourth year, where our teachers gave us books that they found at a thrift store, you know, like a secondhand store, and we had to do projects based on it. So I got a book that was about cowboys, and I did this, it was like a silk screen set, kind of. So I did these.
Nice.
And I basically used a limited palette, and I figured out a way to use silkscreen with my work. At the time, I was doing a lot of painting.
Yeah.
And this was sort of like a fun way to do, you know, finished work using drawing, basically.
And when
you
when you say silkscreen at that point, were you using full kit beds, or was it a more lo-fi version with just small screens and tea towels and stuff?
Yeah, it was like a full thing.
Right, okay, well, amazing. And at what point was that? So you said school, but we're talking what age?
I was probably about 24. I went
Okay.
to 2 universities. I studied fine art and animation. I'm trying to understand. I studied fine art and animation at USC, which is like a regular university, and then I went to Art Center in California.
Right, okay. So is that like
And
is
so,
that sort of like a postgraduate diploma type
no, it was just 7 years of undergrad. It was a long time.
thing? Commitment, okay. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's really how to get good at something, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I also have a couple other objects to show you guys. I have this, which is my secret weapon. It's a electric eraser. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah, we got it, yeah.
You heard it. I brought my book, my children's book, which I just finished. You can kind of see. It's I just finished it, and it was with a UK publisher. But it folds out, and it's this long, like crazy, you know.
Amazing.
It's like insane.
Who's the publisher?
They're called Templar.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So I have that, and then I also have some original drawings, which I can show you guys too. There's some, I draw on vellum with pencil. I wouldn't recommend this because it's so shitty. It's like the paper is like folded and weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there must be a reason. What's the quality you get from that paper?
It's pure laziness.
Right. Okay.
Because I don't have to use a light box,
Right. Okay.
But also the type of vellum that I use is like a really kind of fancy vellum. It's called clear print, and it takes pencil really well. Like it's a little grittier, and it takes like the graphite feels better on it.
So in terms of like your relationship with drawing materials, has it taken you a while to get to a point where you found the right kind of paper, the right kind of pencil? Is this something you've explored a long time to get just right?
I don't really have a magical system. I think the way I work is kind of this vellum thing I've done since really when I first graduated. And I really kind of started here, and I branched off to, like when I do like other types of projects with paint or when I do murals or whatever. I try to keep the process really minimal.
Right, okay.
I don't want to like have this like magical thing that maybe like they run out of it and then I'm fucked,
Yeah, totally, yeah.
So I try to keep it to like just like the most simple objects, basically,
But do you find that your relationship with drawing has evolved or been informed by the tools that you've experimented with in any way?
Oh, definitely. I mentioned earlier that I was doing silk screen, and that informed a lot of the way I work digitally because just naturally with the process you're only working with a few colors. There's limitations to how you're working.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that my drawings used to be really fussy, like I used to really kind of complicated, like kind of scratchy drawings. And then as I've drawn more and more over the years, they've gotten a little bit cleaner, maybe a little bit simpler. And that's partially, I think, working with art directors that demand a certain way that things should look. And then, you just get bored of working a certain way.
Yeah.
So you want to try like a new challenge, maybe?
Yeah, it's always got to keep evolving, hasn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Let me review these questions again. I mean, we've started talking about your work, but just off the back of that, can you tell us a little bit more about? Could you describe the kind of work you make?
Yeah, I do really dense drawings and use very limited colors.
Okay. And do you think there's something, like when art directors are like, who should we get on this job? Is there a reason they come to you for certain things? Do they go, oh, Josh will do that really well? Have you got do you think there's like a core element or like reoccurring principle in your practice that you're proud of?
I think, yeah, I think so. I think that they call me for that I'm able to do kind of real things, like real situations. Also, like I'm able to do characters and kind of fantasy things like meshed together. And I think I get called a lot for being able to do those two things.
Yeah. No, that rings really true. Looking at your folio, you know, it's that very creative interpretation of real world stuff. I personally think it's really, really interesting. Maybe we could have a look at some images. Is there anything? If I just reduce the screen for a bit, is there anything we could look at? Do you think it's a good example of what Josh does?
Oh yeah, should we do the screen share?
Yeah, sure.
Is
Yeah,
that-
yeah. Let's do that.
All right. Sorry, I'm trying to figure. Conversations, share screen.
Yeah.
All right. Here we are.
It should send a little invite, I think.
You got it?
Yep, it's happening. Wow, I didn't realise how dark we were in. It's a bit moody. Okay, there we go. Right, lovely. Yeah, we've got it.
Okay. So is this like you guys can see this?
Josh, that's wonderful. We can see it all. Brilliant.
Okay, cool. So this is a good example of sort of that mix of realism and fantasy. You know. This is for a recent project that I did about some boring financial something. I can't even remember what it was about exactly, but I think that a lot of times art directors call me because I can also do conceptual work too, you know, but it also being able to create a world. So that's why I like this piece a lot. I have some sketches for the same assignment that you guys can kind of see my process. I try to keep the sketches somewhat simple, you know, easy to understand. This is the one that got picked.
Cool.
And here's another one too. I don't really know what's going on with those. I just sort of put like random images together. This was actually a bit taken from my kids' book, and this is maybe a little bit off topic, but just to give you guys an idea of the things that you have to go through when you're making a kids' book, my book's about New York, and this is the Empire State Building, and we had to call the Empire State Building and get a license in order for me to draw it.
It's crazy.
And I know it's insane, and so my whole book, the concept of it is I'm showing building exteriors and also the interiors, so kids can kind of like look in and see what's happening or whatever. So this was one snippet of it, and the people at the Empire State Building were freaking out because there's like trash and hot dogs and stuff on the inside and like, you know, King Kong. And I couldn't do it. We went back and forth like maybe 3-4 times, and they're like, we won't give you the license for it. So I had to completely take this out.
You're kidding?
That's America, guys.
I'm sure there's hot dogs in the Empire State Building somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah, but everything, like you could get sued here. It's insane. So this is another snippet from my kids' book. Again, very dense and like just crazy shit going on. A lot of hot dogs and banana peels everywhere. You can also slow me down if I'm going too fast.
Yeah, sure. We're still on slide number 5 with the King Kong.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, there's a lag.
Right, okay.
Are you on 6 now?
No. But you don't seem to be lagging in the corner. Can you click on the 6? Have you got 6 up on your screen?
Yeah, I do.
It's weird. It might have crashed on the screen or something.
I'm at technology.
Yeah, I know. The robots. Everywhere.
We can look at the videos and stuff too if you guys want to do that.
Yeah, maybe we should come back to this. I don't know how else to like reboot it or make it wake up again.
Yeah, let's come
But
back.
I'd love seeing your screen, Josh. It's like looking into your world. Okay.
Let's come back.
Yeah, let's come back. Okay.
Okay, are we back?
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up the videos. Do you want me to put a particular video on?
I don't care. Tell me which one you're pulling up, and then I can.
Okay, so how about the US Open Story of the Open?
Oh yeah, so this is I guess to preface all of this, I also get called because I'm able to do a lot of different things. You know, like I don't just do magazine stuff. I also do stuff for animation and also do murals and kids books and this sometimes results in like me not being that good at anything, you know. But I think it's also fun for me because it keeps it interesting and I don't get bored of doing the same thing over and over. So this is a very recent project where, are you guys watching it right now?
Yeah. We've got the sound down, but we're watching
Okay,
you
cool.
on a harness.
So this is a project where I had to paint a 60-foot mural and I had to add on to it every single day. And I couldn't plan it out really, so there was no planning, there was no sketch, you know? I just had to kind of like free form it.
Why did you agree to this?
I don't know, it was just pure stupidity.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to see if I could do it or not.
Yeah, for sure.
I had to kind of act too, like they would interview me and give me lines and stuff before every single day, and I had to sort of act on camera.
It's funny though, because I think it's a really interesting example of how the role of illustrator in the contemporary practice has taken on more than just making pictures, that the process is of value to your audience and to clients as well.
Yeah, I think also it helps that I'm really handsome.
Yeah,
too,
absolutely, yeah. We're all enjoying that right now, Josh. This kind of process of drawing at this scale, how do you prepare for this, or what have you done in the past that helped you on a project like this?
I did a mural. My very first mural that I did was in Copenhagen, and a gallery there asked me to they had a space for me to do kind of a public art thing, and that kind of launched this whole mural thing. And I've done murals for other clients in the past.
Right.
A lot of them are much tighter, you know, like I'm using a grid or I'm projecting, or like this one's like super loose and kind of sketchy style.
Yeah.
But I've never done anything this big, so I think that was really interesting for me. You know, the challenge of that.
Yeah.
That's one way that I really like to work too. Is I like to have the feeling that it could fail. Like I could fail on an immense level. You know, like I have to have that fear a little bit, the risk. Because if I don't have it, then usually the piece turns out kind of boring, or I'm bored with it, or there's nothing interesting with it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's about ambition.
Yeah, and sometimes like I will start off with it being really terrible. The piece is like in a bad place, and then I have to kind of save it, and so all these sort of like mind games that I play with myself when I'm working. It's a terrible way to work.
No, but it sounds like really honest. I think that's what's really nice to hear you say is that behind this kind of folio of really wonderful images we hear this story of like or struggles or battles that you've had to get to those points. It's not like you're just churning out these things with effortless skill and ease. Like otherwise, I don't think that's possible, is it?
No, it's not.
It has to be a struggle. We were going to ask. Maybe, I don't know, can we have a look at some of the videos? I mean, I think it was quite good to hear you talk about a project alongside a video, and I know we've got some other ones here.
Let's do another one.
What about this Mountain Dew thing? This looks quite different.
Yeah, let's play that one. That one,
Oh, here we go. No way. What?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about that.
That was with a motion company called Buck, and they basically asked me to come in and do my thing and sort of like create this world for this character. They had they had this idea of like this person kind of going through time, and they want things to be like morphing around him. And so I just came in and I did like a bunch of drawings, which they just took apart, and they had like 3D people. They like created like environments. We also videotaped myself and the other creative director, and I kind of like drew on top of our bodies, like sort of rotoscope style.
Wow.
And it was really sort of complicated. They did all the hard work. I did, I just kind of did the fun stuff.
That's really, really interesting though, because when I flick through it, it seems to kind of echo your visual style and folio. But to hear you say you didn't make the artwork, I suppose in a very different sense, as an illustrator, you're being employed to provide the content, I suppose, or the ingredients.
Yeah.
Like that's really
I was
interesting.
supposed to create the work because they're very technical, this company, and they're really good at animating and also good at 3D rendering and stuff. But they really need a lot of times they need illustrators to be able to create a universe or a style. Because often these companies can't do that themselves. So that's kind of where we come in.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I suppose it's like creativity for sale, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so we move on. These are so varied. It's really fascinating. This one here is the black and white one of the mural.
Oh yeah, this is one that I did with Jim Stoughton, which I'm sure you guys might know.
Yeah. Super
and
Jim.
Also Mike Perry. And we didn't really have any kind of plan. We just sort of did this for a music video. It was for a friend of Mike's. They just needed drawing. And yeah, we just kind of attacked it and had fun. And I think that's also something really important that that I learned in school was kind of being able to play, and kind of being able to turn that into work somehow. Or having the two things go side by side.
Yeah, absolutely. Were you having to, I know this is muted, but was there a lot of conversations as you were making these? Did you get quite serious about these silly drawings, or are you being silly while you're
Never serious. We're always just messing around,
Yeah, amazing.
And it's fun because I think collaborating with someone is a really important part of my process, because you can play off what someone else is doing and get inspired by something. You're a little bit less precious about your own work, you're okay with it being destroyed somehow or altered or made better, dare I say.
Yeah, and doing it in person physically rather than something online or whatever, I think there's something really true about that, perhaps.
Definitely.
I suppose it's the same with your studio, isn't it? But it's less about externalizing and showing off and more about, I suppose, having fun with real people. I'm just repeating what you're saying, but yeah.
I started my first studio when I was right before I graduated from college, and I would totally recommend you guys to do the same. I found some friends that I was in printmaking lab with, and we just had a studio together. We put on art shows of other friends. I think that the great thing about school is there's such an energy there, you guys, hopefully it's very competitive and intense, and you have other people that you can sort of critique their work, or you can critique their work. And I really wanted to carry that into, when I started working, and I think it's really important to have that community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think collaboration is something that hopefully, that's something that I will be doing the rest of my career.
Yeah, for sure. These are great. Great.
We should do a drawing together.
Yeah, I'd love that, man. Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. I'll get on a plane and come over to New York.
Yeah.
No, I will come over to New York. It's happening, man. It's happening. Okay, well, let's talk about drawing a little bit more then, because I know we spoke before this interview, but when we look at your digital work and your commercial work, it's kind of really finished, but it still seems like there's an authentic thing going on there. So, how do you maintain, or how have you informed your drawing practice?
Well, obviously I keep a sketchbook. My sketchbook is really ugly and terrible. I don't normally show it that often. But I do like to do sort of drawing projects. A project that I did somewhat recently, an ongoing project that I've been doing with Mike Perry actually, is where we've been asking people to pose for us. And these are like sort of like e-drawings. And we will line up a whole bunch of people like over the course of a couple days, and they will pose for us like back to back. And sometimes these are friends of ours, sometimes it's like coworkers, like magazine editors, like a whole bunch of random people. And so a lot of that is sort of like responding to, you know, that person with whatever you have in your hand, you know, like tube of gouache or, you know. I have some examples. We could try you want to try the screen sharing again?
Yeah, let's give it a bash, yeah. I've just been like scrolling through your Tumblr as you're speaking. It's nice to see that breadth of stuff.
Can you see screen sharing?
Yeah, we're screen shared, yeah, it's on.
Okay, so I'll just scroll down to. Okay. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are like examples of those sort of drawings that we did of, you know, people that come and like usually just people that are like kind of want to be exhibitionists, or we had like a pregnant woman that wanted to give a gift to her husband and pose for us, and all sorts of things. Like this is some girl who brought her corgi in, and the corgi was like running all over the place, and we had to do like a quick drawing of that, you know.
So good.
But you know, this really reminded me of when we were in school, and I'm sure you guys had the same thing where you did life drawing, and I wanted, you know, now after I've been working for a while, I wanted to kind of like revisit that and see maybe what I've learned or what's changed, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah, it's a different game when you feel like you've maybe developed those skills a little bit more, or you know, you get a bit cocky perhaps if you don't do it for a while.
Yeah, totally. Is this working?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. I have a couple of like sketchbook examples too. Is that coming up?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So yeah, you know, I try to keep it loose. You know, don't really have much of a plan. This is a to-do list that I did in a day. You know, yeah, I like to have, you know, try to keep it light and have fun with it. I think that's kind of what's important. You know.
Yeah. Is that pork chop in there? Porky? What's your dog called?
Yeah, pork chop.
Pork chop. Yeah, cool. Nice dog. So,
oh man, you want to see wait.
Is he a Boston?
Yeah, he's a Boston. You have one too.
Yeah,
right?
we just got one recently. Yeah, she's great. But I do.
Oh my god, I got a crazy, a really realistic tattoo of him. Should we look at that?
No, yeah, come on, man. Let's see your tattoo. No one's ever shown us a tattoo before. This is great.
Okay. I was gonna make a mask for you guys, but that seemed ridiculous. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah, that's right. Good work. Total commitment to pork chop. Well done. What a lucky dog.
I love him. You know, he's like my child.
Animal friends are important, aren't they?
So important.
Well, I suppose if we're moving towards the end, Josh, I wanted to ask you. I know you teach and stuff, and you've given us some really insightful advice. But what would you have told yourself, you know, as a student when you just started your first course? What kind of advice would you give yourself?
You know, I think a little bit of what I touched on this earlier. I think it's really important to maintain your community or develop a community that you have in school and try to keep that going after you get out, you know. I think all the other shit about promotion and art directions, all that, I mean, that's important, you know, like the business side of things, but I think that there are certain things that when you're in school that I wish that I carried on later, like keeping a sketchbook, collaborating with friends, making projects with each other. I think that is what's really, you know, hopefully going to help you develop as an artist, you know, and that's something that I'm still trying to learn, and I'm still like kind of grappling with, you know, now. You know, I've been working for almost 10 years, and it's a constant battle to stay interested and to stay engaged in what you do, because, of course, like, you can get, like, all these assignments, like, about, stuff that you don't really care about, but ultimately, we're image makers and we want to, like, make stuff that we're excited about, and I think that if you're able to be in an environment or create an environment where that is possible, I think that's probably something that I would recommend for students,
Yeah, amazing. I wonder, do you guys have any questions for Josh?
You mentioned like that obviously like collaborative practice and everything, and like keeping your practice fresh is like really important. Is that something you kind of apply with jobs as well? Like if you've ever had a job that you've like done and been like, and like really worked down with, like have you got like any tips in terms of like dealing with like jobs that maybe don't really like
interest you?
That word.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I think this is sort of the trick, even with school, because I felt like when I was in school, a lot of times I got assignments that I just didn't give a shit about, and I think like school, the trick is if you can somehow turn that assignment so you're able to do what you want to do,
Yeah.
I think that's sort of the trick, and that practice has carried myself through, working commercially, I mean, often I don't care about the assignments. Honestly, like, I don't care about, a lot of these clients that I work with, but I try to find that one thing that I want to do, like, maybe it's like this weird guy whose beard wraps around his face, or like, or maybe it's like the danger of working like super high up off the ground and I'm painting every day. Like I try to find that one thing that I can sort of like get into. And I don't know, you kind of make a deal with yourself or whatever. And the collaborative process I think is interesting because a lot of times you're dealing with art directors or producers or whatever, and they have their ideas and they kind of give you a set of boundaries. Same with your teachers. And for me, that's always been really fun because I can sort of like try to push up against that, or I try to break it, or and that's all part of the collaborative process,
Yeah.
And a lot of times they have ideas or they have input that kind of like makes me see how I work a little bit differently. And I think if you're in a place where you're doing work and you're surprised by what happens at the end of it, then I mean that's like the best, right?
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you.
Bang on. Big thanks. Any other questions? Anything else we want to ask Josh while we're here?
When you're like, if you like get overwhelmed by the amount of work or you get very stressed, have you got like any techniques or tips that you like to do to kind of de-stress yourself so it's not like affecting your work as much?
Oh yeah, you should get a Boston Terrier, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Standard.
To de-stress myself. What do I do? Like something that's not like bad for your body, like something that's like. I've gotten into cooking, a lot of times like I'll go like do something else, I'll like I have a setup at home too, besides the studio, and I think it helps to change my environment a little bit. Like sometimes I don't want to be around people and I just want to work on my own thing at home. That helps. And then when I'm at home, I can like take a nap or go on a walk, or like I think like changing things up. A lot of times people take showers or something, and that they get ideas that way. I don't know. I think it's different for everybody, really.
Yeah.
Push-ups, you can do push-ups.
Yeah, it's nice. Naomi, push-ups. I thought that that to-do list as well that you showed us before is like and totally relevant. That not only is that a creative little thing, it's also that daily task of like structuring and managing your time. I suppose you come across as very professional, Josh, but maintaining creativity is part of your professional like remit, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the last question then that we ask everyone is in your opinion, how would you differentiate illustration from really great illustration?
Oh, I think that's a good question. I think that really great illustration has this sort of intangible quality to it that I couldn't even, like when you see it, and I think that really great illustration has soul to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's like this thing about it that you can really connect with, and I think that happens when you put a lot of yourself into it, when it's not just like businessman climbing dollar bill.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
or
for
if
sure.
Or if it's not like, just solving a problem, but when it's like, this is a part of you, and I think that's what makes something a really great image.
Amazing, that's a fantastic answer. Thank you. Feeling a bit emotional now.
Yeah, this is my style.
You totally got me. I think we'll wrap it up. We're going to thank Josh for his time, everyone. Should we give him a thank you? A round of applause. And a bit of clapping. That's really, really wonderful. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll be in touch soon. We need to talk about dogs a bit more, I think. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be in touch. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks.
Cheerio.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Are you alright, man?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Matt, I don't think you're committed enough to your dog. You need a tattoo.
Yeah, like a back piece.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for that.